We got a giant wall of text to go through this week, and Season 2 was announced. So if you want to hear us talk for a while and see some awesome speed doodles, stick with us and enjoy the ride. Hello everyone, and welcome to the 98th, 2 episodes from 100, episode of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, Gw2 podcast for fans by fans. I am Lagwin, and I'm, as you can see, or are starting to see, I've been joined by Saune yet again, so welcome.
Hello!
So yeah, we'll just jump right into it today. It doesn't look like it's going to be too long, just because there wasn't a ton of really big news, but we got a lot of mail, or specifically one piece of mail that's 1,600 words or something ridiculous. So, but if you are listening to us on iTunes, which I'm sorry, I was a little bit behind on uploading some of those things, and you want to watch us live, it's every Thursday unless specifically designated at twitch.tv/Chronicles of Tyria. You can find us here. You can also check if you follow us on Twitch. That's a pretty good way to know, because you'll get an email when we go live. There's also a couple of in-browser applications you can download that'll notify you when any of your Twitch subscribers, or whenever anyone you subscribe to on Twitch goes live. Or you can also check our website, chroniclesoftyria.com. There's a little calendar in the right side, and that's kept pretty up to date with when any kind of our content's being released. Right, so the question of the week last week was kind of a suggestion-y thing, which was just, well, you want to talk about it? Actually, it'd be easier if you did.
Yeah, it was basically just a challenge to you guys, especially for you regulars. Probably remember we had to take down our store because of an accidental copyright infringement, and we'd really like to get it up, but in order to do that, we have to remove the ANET assets from our logo. So we're trying to get a new logo made, but it's very difficult. None of us really have a lot of confidence and or time to put into designing it, so we decided to put it out there to see if anyone would come up with any ideas for new icons to replace the professional and racial doohickeys on our logo.
Yep. And actually, do you want to just talk, because we got some information about that?
Sure. I had one person, which I really appreciate, actually attempt to give us an answer, which is awesome. Ala Carolina, she actually had a really great suggestion about if the race and profession icons being so difficult to redesign and whatnot, to replace those with weapons instead. So just representing all the different weapons in Guild Wars. So we're dealing with that idea as well. So thank you, Alu. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So again, that the information that kind of still stands. If you have any ideas for, we want to keep the same general theme of the logo. The book is not an ANET asset. Was designed by me. And the words, obviously, they can't be written in New Crichton because that's an asset as well. We did get a couple of responses back and forth on Twitter, like what are you looking for? Are you looking to totally rebrand or just redesign? So it's basically keeping the same general concept, just can't be ANET assets. I mean, it literally can be like the Norn looks like a polar bear. At least that's the image that I get. Could be a different drawn bear, could be a bear face, could be a wolf, could be a raven, doesn't matter. Just some other little symbols that if you're, anybody with your kind of general knowledge of Guild Wars 2 could look at that and go, oh, that represents human, that represents Norn, that probably that represents necromancer, whatever. Just that kind of, association by image is what we're looking for. So even if it's not an actual drawing, just throwing out ideas in text form, that also works. So.
There's no such thing as a bad idea when brainstorming, because even if it's completely outrageous, it might spark a good idea. Or the right idea, or the winning idea, however you want to phrase it.
Exactly. So, we said there was going to be a pretty big wall here. Well, we received an email from Tori G, and holy wall of text. He sent this last Wednesday, actually. It was after, or it might have been Thursday, before, since we had to switch the date of the podcast to Wednesday of last week. So, he missed last week's podcast. But, he felt threatened. So we're going to, I'm going to read this off, so just bear with me here. Hello, hosts. Last week I was apparently called out with Alcardalina writing in a wall of text. Honestly, I'm glad I'm not the only one, but if I'm being called out, I can step up and outwall them? I don't know. I split it into more digestible sections. Enjoy. Interesting stuff from the patch. I kinda really like that they removed all the map completion requirements for trait unlocks, replacing them with some of the more obscure champions and event chains throughout the game. Yay! That annoying heart area in the southeast of Iron Marches that is always broken got a large number of bug fixes. There's a huge amount of patch notes regarding fixes to runes, sigils, skill tooltips, and trait tooltip synergy. And this is just kind of, there was no actual functionality changes for those of you that missed this. It was just kind of like updating when you mouse over things to actually be accurate to what actually happens. For this patch, talk to all the characters. There's a lot of idle dialogue, character development, and new interrelations. Marjorie and Casimir especially, they move around a lot in labyrinthine cliffs. All of the B iconics have interesting things to say about each other and what is coming in the future. They are all a bit single-minded when you ask them what's next. Train crash! For me, the best part of this patch was that every champ that spawned in any of the starter zones was removed and replaced with veterans. This removes every possible champ train that could exist in the level 1 to 15 zones. Removing these champions is so good for the health and community of the game. The amount of vitriol and hate/intolerance that the champ trains breed is not good, period. And having that exist in the starting zone of the game probably turned quite a few people away from the game. I find that whenever I am in maps with champ trains, I switch off my map chat tab. But for people who like the doldrum of those trains, there is still Frostgorge Sound and Edge of the Mists. And people should really try Fields of Ruins, Sparkfly Fen, Dredgehaunt Cliffs, Lornar's Pass, and Harathi Hinterlands for champs. I will say that Edge of the Mists, I've experienced this many a time. Edge of the Mists is great. If you get like a good commander, you can just roll through that map and just rack up XP, karma, and killing champs, and bags, and world experience. So, pretty good for that. The Crown Pavilion. There are quite a few unique things to the pavilion this time around, making it no longer the loot circle of death it was before. The bosses within the pavilion cannot be zerged. To get maximum credit, the population of the pavilion must split up and kill the bosses at the same time for the fullest reward. Bosses themselves drop no loot. Rewards are given upon completion of the events. Included with these changes to the bosses in the pavilion are changes to the loot of the trash mobs. They seem to have normal loot tables like they did last year. I do really like the Queen's Gauntlet. They've brought the original achievements back with progress saved like they did for SAB, which is good, and they added some more achievements and a title. I will admit I finally have gotten a chance to go in and play the Pavilion and the Gauntlet as well. I'm a big fan of the functionality of the Pavilion, and it's actually almost worse than last year. If you get like a really good team and like a really good group, you can just get like hundreds of champ bags in relatively no time at all. But well, let me finish the wall and then we'll come back. Warning: cyclical content with save progress is good. We need more. And that wasn't a warning. I just added that because I'm stupid. But I agree. Cyclical content, like they did with SAB and the Queen's Gauntlet, is great. Save our progress. They saved it with the Aspect Arena as well. It came with the Festival of the Four Winds last year. Yeah, that's great. Why don't we do that more with these kind of, like, especially these kind of events where there's some really difficult stuff? Bring it back, and that kind of has more of that permanent feel to it. Labyrinthine.
Well, especially for festivals that we know are going to be coming back over and over and over again.
True, but some of the it's tricky though, and I guess now that I think about it, I see both sides of it, because some of the festivals they add new stuff, like Halloween. There's new story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But Halloween's not really a festival, or it hasn't been.
Yeah, but I mean it's kind of though, because it's a annual celebration that only happens for a limited time. It's like almost a definition of a festival in and of itself. But regardless, we'll move on. Labyrinthine Cliffs. Jumping for sky crystals is still one of my favorite bits of content ANET has added, and now it's back. And now there are new places to find and new types of crystal to get in new locations. Yay, exploring! The new events are fun and interesting. Using the aspect skills as a Doliac is really funny. It's called the Flying Doliac Race. All they are missing is Scarlet's rocket boosters. Currency. Everyone knows this game has so many currencies, but in the game's current iteration it can be a good thing. Personally, I feel the game needs to shift away from the gold gets you everything mentality. The use of participation currencies, account-bound currencies, and temporary event items offer a better way to experience all the game has to offer and then be rewarded for it. This is opposed to do one really boring, monotonous, unfun activity and just buy what you want. A shift in the direction can also affect drop rates. One reason why drop rates for items in Guild Wars 2 are so abysmal is that most of those items can be just bought, so the drop rate of an item determines the total supply and in turn the value of the item. Ascended drops excluded, they are already account bound. With the new account wardrobe, all items that have unique skins have a much higher inherent value because they have a place to be even if they're not being used. Having more rewards / skins, etc., obtainable from non-gold methods or a combination of gold / non-gold methods helps diversify the single-minded and one-dimensional nature the game has acquired over the past year. Farming frustration. I think many players have gotten used to content patches, meaning farm patches, lucrative, mindless, zerging about for achievements, and lots of drops. When faced with a patch that limits those drops, encourages splitting up, and requires coordination, there's a sufficient amount of backlash. But let us not be so short-sighted. There is just as much complaining / whining when the patch boils down to zerg and stack for the win. Ain't that the truth? And I guess it is just an interesting thing to think about how ArenaNet seems like really hardcore anti-zerg, but like the way, or I'm sorry, anti-raid rather. Like they don't want to add raids to their game, so their answer to that is try to get a giant zerg of people together and organize that, which is much more difficult than getting like 20 to 30, 40, 50 people, like, and just doing it. Like, I mean, there are guilds like TTS that make the Jungle Worm and Tequato almost trivial at this point. But like the first few go-arounds, those were absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, imagine if, like, what if that was, why couldn't that just be, I mean, it's kind of been solved a little bit with this whole guild world event thing, but, like, why couldn't, what's the problem with making that, like, a raid that's an organized 30-man content, you know what I mean? Rather than, like, it's totally, you need everybody in the map to really do this correctly, but good luck getting a whole bunch of randoms and people that are just passing through to get on board with what you're doing. I don't know. It's just something interesting that I find about ArenaNet. Especially like the pavilion, for instance. It's not roll around in a blob. It's split up into, you know, all different groups to fight all the different champions. Burn them down till they're almost gone, and then right before, you know, right when everybody gets really low, burn them all out and try to get it done within like 5 minutes. And you're trying, again, it's been done and it is happening, but like, it would be kind of cool if you could generate like a guild instance of the pavilion and then go in and organize it like yourself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if you can get into like a TTS or an instance that TTS wasn't in the pavilion, it's awesome. Otherwise, you're gonna get bronze. There's just no way around it.
I mean, I actually was in a non-TTS pavilion 2 nights ago. And it was a bunch of pugs, and we were not doing so hot at the start. And then, well, you know, a couple of people moved around, some adjustments were made. Map chat was extremely helpful, and then we ended up like going 10 in a row with like 3 minutes left on the clock for gold reward, like no problems.
Wow.
And like, I mean, we did have 6 commanders, you know, so there was that. And like, yeah, it just worked.
That's really helpful.
So, yeah. Alright, next. Mega servers and the answer. This is actually my main wall of text. I cannot count the number of times that I have heard people ask, why not have districts? What about districts? Districts would be great, wouldn't they? I wonder why they didn't just do districts. All ANET has said is that Guild Wars 2 is a very different game than Guild Wars 1. But to me, the reasons are so simple. There are 4 big issues that stand out to me when implementing the kind of district system we had in Guild Wars 1. They are very much the same reasons why it took them 5 months to give us guesting. One of the reasons is less relevant now, so I will start with that. World bosses. This is not as big a deal now as all the rewards from the bosses are account or character limited once per day. However, when guesting was first implemented, you could loot the chest as many times as you could do the event, and the daily rare chests did not exist. So now this is not so much a problem anymore, but it gives us precedent to look at when trying to find solutions to these next problems. 2. This is another small reason. Marketing. Having a drop-down menu with a number of instances of a map listed would easily show populated / spread out the player base is. People would think they know something about the numbers of people playing the game and go bonkers on the internet. Not necessarily good for publicity, even if people are mistaken. Larger issue: champ trains. Why run to more that one champ train if you can cycle through multiple maps to kill the same with no waypoint fees? Just stop to imagine the possibilities and the rage when a random person kills a certain layer's champ or multiple trains start running. Bottom line is that there's a very large exploit possible, and even if chances are low, it is still a possibility. It's like in Jurassic Park. Nature, well, life finds a way, but if an exploit exists, the players will find a way. Number 4. This is the one I think ANET is most concerned about: gathering. While each version of a map has its own randomized nodes, the number of places they spawn is finite. In fact, I believe the specific permutations that maps use have already been recorded and are available online somewhere. Also, in my experience, rich nodes always spawn in the same place. So say there are 8 layers in a map. Run up to a node, mine it, travel the different layers, get lucky a few times, move on to the next node, and repeat. For rich nodes, you can get 9 to 14 strikes, and they will exist in every layer. The amount of material that can be gathered is rather astounding, since players can will no longer be limited to gathering nodes across 3 servers. This opens the possibility for metal and wood prices to truly hit the floor. While this may sound just fine and dandy, in the long run, it is not so good for the health and the game and the economy. The balance ArenaNet strives for exists in players' choice to gather the materials themselves versus buying them on the trading post, and there should be value for the people who run around gathering them to sell on the trading post. Now, while I understand that these reasons may have an impact as to why ANET has not done districts yet, there may be solutions to these aforementioned concerns. However, the process in implementing these fixes may mean a fundamental redesign of some of their systems, or placing arbitrary, time-gated limits on gathering nodes and champion boxes, among other things. Finally, a short bit on the mega servers and overflow. I think the quickest, easiest fix for organizing large groups for content would be another guild unlock, activated by a rank with permission that creates a guild-owned instance of the map, and the activating player is currently in. Then other members of the guild can open their guild panel and join on the map from the guild UI once it is created. Anyone who is not of the activating guild would not be directed into the instance unless taxied through the party interface. The guild instance would persist for a set amount of time, 1 to 3 hours, before allowing random players into the layer, or until all guild members left the map. This tool would be useful for organizing open world boss fights and living world content such as the boss splits in the Crown Pavilion. Well, there you go. That actually solves what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you, hosts. Yeah, I do think, and we have not a lot of stuff to spend our merits and influence on, especially once you max everything out. You're just kind of sitting there, and you're just racking it up for maybe guild halls, maybe one day, who knows. But yeah, you're right. If you could create guild instance in a world, rather than generating a guild event like you can do right now, like you said, if I want to do, like, if I'm TTS and I want my own Crown Pavilion, let me generate one and I'll have everybody come join, and that'll be it. I think that would be a really good idea, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so again, thank you for the wall. That got us to the first almost half an hour of the show. Let's see. Do you want to read, or are you drawn?
I can read.
Okay.
I just gotta get to the bottom of this wall. Oh my god. Keep going and going and going.
I know.
But we love it as much as we razz about it.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from Eduardo. Can you imagine how many people think that Clov Jormag is Jormag and the temple's high priest are the gods themselves? Do you think ArenaNet screwed their lore for a lot of people with the names of some of their world bosses? Eduardo, the Mexican. Also, have you all killed Lierdry yet? I have not. I have not touched the gauntlet. I think I touched the gauntlet once last year, and that was it.
That was it? Just once? Huh. Well, I definitely do see some confusion from people that don't know much about the lore of the game, calling, like you say, the Claw of Jormag is Jormag, which it's not. It's a champion of Jormag, and the High Priest of Grenth, or the High Priest of Lissa, people are calling Grenth and Lissa, which obviously are not the case either. I don't know if I would say screwed their lore, per se, but I would definitely say they have caused confusion again amongst players that aren't really invested in the lore and know the difference. And I did manage to kill Lierdry last night, actually. I spent a little amount of time doing it last year, and a little bit I started doing it this year, and I cycled through about 7 different characters trying to figure out which profession I could do it the best on. Like, I was trying. I thought I could do it. I thought it was going to be my ranger. I thought I was just going to melt her down with conditions. And I probably could have done it, to be honest, but I just didn't manage the clock enough to be able to stay alive. Like, I could, if I had more time, I definitely would have been able to. And then I was like, oh, I don't know, I'll just switch to my thief, and then I'll just burn her down with like a ton of direct damage. So that was my second thought, and then my thief was too squishy to even make it that far. Like, I did alright, but I was dying mostly from her auto attacks. So I got her down to about half health with my thief, and then I switched to my engineer, and first try. So I just melted her with grenades, and rocking HGH and grenades, and it wasn't really much of a challenge. So yeah, beat her last night. So go me.
Go you!
Yeah. So we had a couple of messages on YouTube. Real quick, this was on the last week's podcast. Wolfie said, "Aha, Saune's speed drawing is awesome." This was in reference to the anime rocks.
Everyone loves rocks, man. Yeah. I've gotten a lot of comments about that on DeviantArt as well.
I'm gonna have to post that to ArenaNet. I have to tweet them with that image so you can't get that up there. So yeah, then Michael Ramirez to answer, and this is, I don't know, Son, we kind of talked about this a little bit ago, but yeah. He said to answer Son's question about char ears, they have 2 ears each side to hear distances and high band frequencies, to hear things far away, and high band to hear things in such frequency like dog whistles. Forgot when and where this was asked, but I do remember this sticking in my head. Yeah, I guess with Saune, when she said that, well, why don't you explain it? It's easier for you to explain it.
Well, yeah, now that you actually reminded me how it even came about. I think I was struggling with the anatomy of either Rox's or Ritlock's ears, and so I said, why do Char have so many ears? But so I think it was meant to be a rhetorical question, but I really appreciate your answer. Yeah, I remember reading that on Wiki. They do actually talk about the Char ear. I think it's on Wiki. It's either on Wiki or in book 1 of the Guild Wars 2 novels. 1 ear is for high frequencies and 1 ear is for low frequencies. So they have a really wide range of hearing, and it's also good for long distances. But humans kind of fall in the middle, which really doesn't help for human chart conversations either, because pretty much it's like talking to a really old person. What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? Over and over again.
Yeah, and it also apparently it's a little irritating as well. If you don't want to go to the wiki or read book 1, you can just check out the Char lore. There's 3 videos of it, actually. There's 2 from like way back in the day. I think it's episode 3 and episode 5, and then like there was a more recent one that Brahms and I did, and I think Alu as well. You can check out stuff on here where we kind of go through the original ones, talk more about the Char history and the physiology, and then the more recent videos talk about what things we've learned. I mean, they go over that briefly as well, but they talk about things that we've learned since the game has come out and been out for so long, like an additional knowledge. Like, I think the first one we didn't know who the Tribune of the Ash Legion was. Like, nobody knew, and it was supposed to be like a big secret. Or not Tribune, Imperator of the Ash Legion. Nobody knew. Like, it was like, oh, maybe nobody knows. And then, like, no, they're just in the game, just hanging out. You can go talk to them. It's not a big deal. It's not like super secret. It's not like the Master of Whispers or anything.
Yeah.
And
huh? Sorry, talking to my drawing.
Alright, I guess that's a thing people do. And last up was from Klob. Hey guys, thanks for linking my DeviantArt. I was going to give up on the Necro portrait, but after listening to this, I don't think I can. I would be happy to help with logo design stuff. If you have any ideas or would like to discuss it a bit, shoot me messages in game at Klob. Also, a lot of people in the guild are beating Liadri, myself included. Congrats, CoTers, keep it up. So, probably should have pushed this up at the beginning, but we can also contact Klob, because that Necromancer portrait that you linked last
Yeah.
week, that was his.
Yeah, no.
So, I'm saying, so we can bug him about logo
Oh,
stuff too.
yeah.
And Guy81 here says, Brahms coming back. Hopefully. Soon. Maybe. He's doing a lot better. Lot better. But, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's been popping back in and out of games soon.
Yeah, I saw him the other day.
More and more often, so.
Yeah, so we were talking the other day, him and I. So, hopefully he'll be feeling up to coming back soon, but we're not gonna rush him. Let him do what he's gotta do. So, Saune, it is this the right one? Yes, shout out time to you.
Shout out time!
Have
What?
any shout outs?
I do not.
Ah, well, making me put up Vasburg's lovely piece of art here for nothing.
No, you have a shout out.
I know.
You wrote a shout out.
I know, I wrote a couple, but I just, again, if you like the art that you're seeing, this is our good friend Vasburg. You can check the link in the description to see, contact him about this art or any other art. And he actually just got a brand new computer because his computer was down. But there's more art coming for the podcast, more transition cards. So be on the lookout for more of those coming in the future. But as far as shoutouts go, I have a shout out to a member of our guild, Nick, who posted something he saw, who told me something he saw on Reddit the other day, and it made me laugh. And the quote is, "There are only 3 kinds of thieves: ninjas, bandits, and underboob."
It's true.
It really kinda is.
I love my tier 3 top, but especially with the mega server, it's like seriously everyone has it.
Underboob, man. People love the underboob. So I also have 2 other small shoutouts. Small relative to how you look at it. I don't know how many of you guys know or grew up with this. I assume a lot of you, but some of the younger folks may not. Reading Rainbow.
Oh yeah.
So Reading Rainbow, starring LeVar Burton, was on PBS, at least here in the States. I don't know how it was elsewhere, but huge part of my childhood. And it just recently, to my knowledge, was actually a shock to me. Went off the air in 2009. It was on from 1983 till 2009. And 2 years ago, LeVar Burton and Reading Rainbow actually launched an iPad app, which is actually the #1 educational app for children. I don't know if you know that. I found that out, which was very interesting. But anyway, LeVar Burton is trying to bring Reading Rainbow back in a browser. There's a whole video, and I'll put a link in the description. But there is a whole... he's trying to bring it back in browsers with a web-enabled version, and he wants to give it to schools, struggling schools, for free, subsidize the cost so that it's free, video field trips, hundreds of books, and all these things so that kids today can have the Reading Rainbow experience that we had growing up, our half an hour, and he says the half an hour on TV was yesterday's technology. Today kids want it at their fingertips, on tablets, on the internet. And he actually put up this Kickstarter to fund it. They only wanted to fund $1 million in 35 days. Day 1, he hit $1 million. Yesterday was day 2, he hit $2 million. So if you want to support Reading Rainbow and education worldwide, you can check out his Twitter, which is at LeVar Burton, or the Reading Rainbow Twitter at Reading Rainbow. But you can get a lot of cool swag, and there's some crazy stuff you can get. Like, do you want to hang out with LeVar Burton at Comic-Con? Donate X amount of dollars. Do you want LeVar to sponsor You can have them sponsor a classroom or a school of your choosing where they'll get first early access to Reading Rainbow and have it like for a year. Do you want LeVar Burton to follow you on Twitter and tweet out at you? He's got like over 2 million followers, so that would be huge marketing for anybody. Trust me, I'm thinking about it myself. Going that high. If you want to donate $10,000 to Reading Rainbow, you can fly out to LA to have a personal dinner with LeVar Burton, and he will let you wear the none and only version of Geordi's visor that he wore throughout the entire series of Star Trek The Next Generation. He has it in his possession, and you can have dinner with him and wear it.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would recommend going to Kickstarter, checking it out. There's a whole intro video there where he runs through everything and the whole plan. It's pretty funny, actually. Brent Spiner's in it too, so we get a little Next Generation action. But definitely check it out. And support if you feel. I mean, $5 gets you, a thank you on their website. I think like $60 will get you like a T-shirt. I mean, I don't know. I have never, to be honest with you, I've never felt so strongly about any like social activity of any like something like this ever before. But for whatever reason, like Reading Rainbow, man, just triggered. The theme song just starts running through my head, and I'm just like, man, I remember coming home after school, sitting down on the couch, watching a little Reading Rainbow with Geordi, my favorite Next Generation character. Just awesome. Good times. So anyway, that's enough public service. Back to Chronicles of Tyria and Guild Wars. This past Wednesday, so yesterday, again, as happens every Wednesday, every new comic book day, an issue of No Gathering Tool Equipped, our webcomic, was released. I just linked it in the chat. You can find a link in the description or visit chroniclesoteria.com. And again, we are progressing further with the story. So next week we're actually going to have a little bit of a break, and I'm super excited for the comic next week. I laughed out loud when I read it myself. So it'll be a little bit of one of our little jokey ones. So be on the lookout for that next week.
An aside, I think that's what we're calling it.
Yes, an aside. Those are our little gag comics that are not related to the story. So, let's start with this. You okay?
Yeah, making sound effects when yeah.
Is this the thing? Is this how this works? Is this like how the comic goes? Because I don't get to witness that. Do you talk to the comic? Do you like read in voices and you're like, as you type out things and draw?
No, I don't do that, but I do yell at the colors and stuff.
At the colors?
Yeah.
Like, ah, damn you, red. Like, is that how that goes?
Yeah. Or
when
I'm coloring big expanses like this, it's not quite an airplane sound, but it's like, I'm coloring! This is actually the method that I use for coloring the, for any of you who are watching and interested, this is the method I use for the, comic, is I do a really rough drawing, and then I do an anatomically more correct drawing, and then I do a line art, and then I do a base color, and then I do the colors on top.
Well, folks, if you are ever interested in the inner workings of Saune the artist, it involves screaming at colors and airplane sounds. If anybody wants to make up a really interesting logo T-shirt idea with something to do with Saune and screaming at color, like I just picture an old lady screaming at like colors, making like airplane like arms screaming at colors. So please, God, please, somebody make that for me, because I need that on a T-shirt, and I will put it up for everybody. I think I broke Saune.
It's really hard to color when my tablet sits against my belly and my belly is wiggling because I'm laughing at you. You're making me fall outside of the line.
I'm sorry. I'll stop. I won't, but maybe I will.
Yeah, I know you will.
Anyway, some stuff in the gem store. We'll start with this because this is kind of small time news. Um, what did you think? Are you gonna get it? The ancestral outfit,
Yes,
the Canton outfit.
because I don't have an outfit that works for Cyan, because Cyan's actually nobility, which is why I usually have the Winter's Day outfit on her.
Hmm.
But giant fluffy parka fancy thing does not really. I've worn it into the swamp, like the Lost God swamp, just because it's hilarious to me, because it's totally ruined. There would be no saving that if you wandered into the swamp with that amount of fur on. So the ancestral looks really, really pretty, and I think actually suits Cyan.
I haven't bought it yet, but I will just because right now it's the closest thing I can get to Cantha. Although, fingers crossed that there will be an announcement for an expansion with Cantha soon.
Yeah.
Maybe PAX
Yeah, I'm just
end of this
waiting
year.
for the gold to gem ratio to be more in my favor.
Yeah. I will say if you haven't seen it, preview it on a male char because you get that sweet dragon on the tail, which is awesome. There's a metal like dragon fixture along the tail of only the male char for some reason.
What?
Yeah, no love for the female char on that. But
Of
it's
all the times for them to have sexual
yeah, right.
dimorphism in the outfit.
Yeah, I know, right? But it looks awesome, so I highly recommend it. Also a little mini jaguar cub. It's cute.
Yeah.
And then there's an ending soon. Last week, to be able to pick up last year's baby minis. It's also the last week to get Sclerite or Winter's Weapon from the Black Lion Specialist. If you want, for whatever reason, a Sclerite weapon, ugh, so gross looking, or a Winter's Weapon, which are badass. Totally not biased here. Trade in your tickets to the Black Lion Specialist and get one, or get one and wait, because I'm telling you, this will be an investment at least for the next few months, because they're not gonna be what's it called? They're not gonna be allowable in game, and
Acquirable?
acquirable. I'm sorry, yes. Because they're removing them from the specialist, so that's the only way to get them currently. Sclerite stuff is long gone. Maybe the winter stuff will come back this year, possibly. I doubt it because they didn't come back last year. That's what I'm saying. If you get the winter stuff now, like get a winter's weapon, and wait till like November, and then sell it, I guarantee you they're already several hundred gold on the trading post since they made the announcement that they're going away. Once they're actually gone, the price is just going to go up. And as a safe bet, I would toss them on a trading post in November. Or you could wait and just like hold on to them like the Halloween weapons, because look at the prices of those, the first gen Halloween weapons. Okay, Hunter's Insight jumped in the chat here. Sclerite pistols. You know what? I rarely play a class that allows me to use pistols. Just because that's just how, things break down. So I probably have never previewed the Sclerite pistols, so maybe I guess if they're that interesting, maybe I'll go grab one just because if that's the hot ticket. It seems like pistols are the underrated weapon when it comes to like the Black Lion stuff, because they always seem to sell for a lot. The aetherized pistols, things like that. To answer Robovin's question, you can totally do that. It should work. You can send things over to her. It's no big deal.
What?
Nothing. Don't look at the chat. Keep drawing. Don't look at the chat. La la la. I could clear it and then make it go away so that you wouldn't be able to see it. But so yeah. So get those. They may, if you don't want them for yourself, my personal, and again, you can hate on me if this comes out to bite you in the ass, but I always usually buy an extra 1 or 2 Black Lion weapons if I have tickets to hold on to them as an investment, because they always go up in price. And, these ones are not going to be acquirable again for the near future.
For a while.
Yeah. And I think I remember there was a dev who said, like, they're going away. They may come back, but not for a long while. So you have the potential to make some serious money on those as the price goes up, the demand goes up. So that's your little economic tip for the day. And speaking of economic, holy crap, I have Pirates gold making video that I have not uploaded to YouTube. I will do that this weekend. I'm sorry, folks. I mentioned it like a couple weeks ago, and it just slipped my mind.
Bad leg.
I
Bad.
know. I know. I have it. I'll put it up.
Last week.
I'll put it up this weekend. Promise. But the big news that everybody's talking about is from that link right there. Season 2 of Guild Wars 2's Living Story begins July 1st. So there's a portal in the little image there with some kind of spiky thorns. I'm pretty sure this has to do with leaving Brisbane Wildlands. There's that portal there that goes nowhere. So, like, and heads towards the Maguma area. So I'm pretty sure that's what this is going to be.
Oh, that marker, whatever that, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, there's like an area, there's a portal. It looks basically like this, but you can't go anywhere. It's in Brisbane Wildlands, and it's heading towards the Maguma Wastes.
Yeah.
So.
And there's a few other places that look like they're leading towards another map, but they're like, there's like a landslide or something in front of them, so you can't actually get to them.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I think that's going to be. But yeah, so that means we get to enjoy the Festival of the Four Winds for about the next month. So if you haven't had a chance to fight Liadri, you're working on the Gauntlet, you've got time. You've got over a month, actually, at this point.
Yeah, I'm really happy for that, actually.
Oh my god, the farm. Just the amount of champ bags you could have from doing a Gauntlet farm, the amount of gold you can make from selling. You could even just sell the champ bags and make money that way. So
yeah. But even the fact that you don't have to feel pressured, because like I figured that we weren't getting a patch next Tuesday when this Tuesday rolled around and we didn't get any hints or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that we have all this time to just enjoy, because I mean we got 3 new maps essentially, because Lion's Arch is completely different. So you got to run around and you got to check out all the different NPCs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Same for all in the Labyrinthine Cliffs. Mm-hmm. There's all the NPCs and so on and so forth, and not just triggerable conversations that just crop up. So you just sort of have to loiter around. I haven't been able to explore any of Lion's Arch yet.
Yeah, me either. I haven't done that yet.
I've done a couple of boss blitzes. Mm-hmm. I haven't touched the Gauntlet, but actually knowing that we have until July, I might actually do that.
Sure. Yeah, it's but that also does give us the potential, unless leaks and things happen between now and then. It's gonna kind of had that dry spell prior to this where we didn't have a whole lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna hit that again, just because we know we have a month till the next piece of content comes out. So there'll be new stuff in the gem store every Tuesday, like there seems to be. Maybe we'll actually get some hints with stuff that comes in the gem store. Keep an eye on the Atlas. Maybe something new will crop up there. Which I actually haven't checked, so there might be something there anyway.
I haven't checked the last couple of days. There's been nothing yet.
Yeah. So, just keep an eye out, and we'll be here talking about something. What it is, who knows? So,
well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I did want to say that this weekend there's, I believe Friday and Saturday there are some PvP related events. Mystopedia stuff. The 2v2 tournament is 8 p.m. Eastern Time Friday, and the 5v5 Conquest Cup is happening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, you can watch Blue's stream. It's twitch.tv/blue42. ArenaNet posted it on the Guild Wars 2 official channel earlier today. If you follow Mystopedia on Facebook as well, they also posted it. So you can obviously, I think you can still try it. You can still enter at this point, But at the very least, if you want to watch some top grade PvP action, you can also tune in and watch on Twitch. It's always good to see what kind of the new meta is and see if anybody's come up with anything interesting. See how things shake out. So that can help tide you over a little bit. What else do we have? You know what? And another thing, there may be live streams. I'm sure there will be between now and then on Fridays. So we may be able to have some other stuff to talk about that'll come out of the live streams.
Yeah, because a lot of the PvP tournaments are done, so.
And you had actually a random act of kindness, believe it or not, which
Yeah.
we haven't had one. Real quick before you go into it, this is something that we used to do on the show, but we kind of stopped getting them. As you guys know, between Reddit and the forums and Champ Train Map Chat, there's quite a bit of hate and kind of toxicity in the Guild Wars community at times. There's not all the time. As a general rule, I would say we're a pretty good, happy community. But, you know, a lot of the times the negative aspects get more publicity than the positive aspects. So I developed this segment a while ago, and it's really on viewers like you to kind of help this segment actually work. But we wanted to showcase every week a random act of kindness. Something that you see, you do personally, a friend does, a random person you see in Say Chat, Map Chat. Just doing something nice out of just the goodness of their heart. And we just want to showcase that to help show that there also is a positive side to the Guild Wars 2 community. Get the positive side some light. So Saune actually has one that she put in here, so I will I'll let you take it away.
Yes, my oh, we're way down there. I'm so out of place. Yeah, okay. I needed to scroll down so I could pronounce her name remotely correctly. This is to Alyssa Iluze. Alyssa Iluze. It was up on Labyrinthian Cliffs. A random portal showed up beside the Skyport waypoint or Skydock waypoint, and I decided to take it. And lo and behold, it was a Master Crystal, just right there. And I mean, we all said thank you to her and stuff. And she started laughing. She's like, "I guess it pays to take a random mesmer portal once in a while." And I laughed and said, "Yeah, I'd been killed by random portals before too." So I thanked her and left. And when I went back to the waypoint, I noticed that the portal was done. But then she popped up, dropped another one, and went back to where she was. So basically, for shits and giggles, she was just throwing down a random portal to see who would come through it to get a Master Crystal.
Yeah.
So just to be kind, I guess. So good on you.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you have if you witness a random act of kindness or have seen one of your own and would like to give that person a shout out or some recognition here on the podcast, you can just shoot that over to us at hosts@chroniclesoteria.com. Or hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, wherever you like. Yeah. And as far as the Craft Corner goes, I actually found this one on Twitter, and oh boy is this awesome. So I'm actually going to open this up. I'm going to link this here, but I'm also going to pull it up live for everybody here to see. I think it's this one. Nope, it's this one. Here we go. So, ignore my million tabs that are open. But check out this cosplay, folks. This is a Guild Wars 2 cosplay. This is a boyfriend-girlfriend team called Cloak and Dagger cosplay. I will link their Facebook in the description as well as in the chat. But they completed their Canadian-based team, and they did their Thief Human Tier 3 armor, their characters. So check this out. You've got an Incinerator here, you got a Celestial Dagger. It's actually a Sclerite Dagger. Funny, I was just talking about those weapons in the back there. But, yeah, check these out, huh? How badass is this? Look at the detail on these cosplays. I mean, she even went as nuts as to put in, like, all the little daggers in the belt for the And again, like we said, what did I say before? There's only 3 kinds of thieves: ninjas, bandits, or underboob. And you got 2 of them right here. So,
But she does it so well.
yeah, no, these pictures are awesome. So check these out, and again, I'll pull up their Facebook page in just a sec. But let's see. Come back to us here. Slide this over. So that was that. Let me pull up their Facebook as well. That's the Facebook link right there. So again, we'll pull this back up here. So this is their cosplay. This is their Facebook here. So you can see some other pictures. They actually, you can see how they made some of their props. It's all foam-based propping. I'll go through some pictures up for references. There's some pretty cool. Look at this one. I love this picture. Like, I mean, the building in the background kind of throws it off, but for the most part, it's pretty nature, so it's pretty awesome. Turns out they also do commissions. So here's actually, this is what I was looking for. I want a picture of both of their characters in game next to both of them in game, but she's rocking that pretty good, matching her character. But as you can see, there's a couple other. Here's some Yu-Gi-Oh cosplay, or props rather. I see a couple of Adventure Time. There's a Marceline base and Science the Rat / Princess Bubblegum Crown. So anyway, this is facebook.com/cloak in, like the letter N, dagger cosplay. Again, Canadian based. This is them at Anime North, rocking their tier 3 human cultural armor. But you can also hit them up if you'd like to have props or costumes commissioned. So be sure to do that and check them out. And if you give them a like, or you encounter them and you ask for them to commission you a prop or something, tell them Chronicles of Tyria sent you. Do a little cross promotion for us. So yeah, that's pretty much it for us today. Have a very interesting drawing there, Saune. Would you like to talk about what that is?
This is from this is from which one was it? Let's Lore.
Yes.
Near the end, when we totally serious up.
Yes.
We're always very serious by the end.
Yeah. This is actually the one that'll be releasing tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. I misread something that Alucardalina was doing. I thought she had done a little control clicky thing to say that she was picking up an accursed staff, and for whatever reason, I thought that she was eating an accursed staff, and somehow it led to Baby Alu. So, Baby Alu!
Awesome. So, again, this is one of Saune's lovely drawings here. We will be sure to, again, link her DeviantArt page, and you can head over and find her on DeviantArt and follow her, or whatever what is it? Watch? That's DeviantArt, right?
Watch.
Yeah. And again, if you're just want to promote it again, she does it on her DeviantArt, but the software that she's using is free access.
Yep.
So this is Krita. We'll have information in the description as well, but this software is free. So if you guys are aspiring artists, or you want to play around with photo editing or drawing yourself, you got a tablet, whatever, software is free, folks. I mean, you might as well, right? I mean, what do you got to lose?
It's open source, so it's legitimately free. Mm-hmm. And they are updating it quite frequently, actually. So it's got full support, because there are some paid options. They actually have corporate licenses.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so if you go and you support Krita as well, and you decide you want to get a paid version, or however that works, again, let them know Chronicles of Tyria sent you. Promote us everywhere, folks. You know, if you like what we're doing here, tell a friend or 3. or 7. Tell them to come check us out. Check out our website. You know, hate on our videos because you don't like how I just talk through the whole thing. Whatever you want, just do it. Do it up. But you know, make yourself known. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up for us. For more information on this lovely baby aloe here, be sure tomorrow's Let's Lore, that'll be episode 25, should be going up at around 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, so be on the watch for that. And again, I'll try to get this episode, if you guys want to re-listen to it if you're watching live, on iTunes. I'll try to get that up tomorrow. And I actually slacked on last week, so I'll try to get that up as well. It's also a juggling to manage the megabyte usage for our website or podcast hosting on iTunes, because if the shows go too long and we use up too much space, then I have to up how much I pay monthly to fund it. So it's just a little bit of juggling. But yeah, maybe next week I'll have some interesting news for some other projects outside of Chronicles of Tyria to let you guys know about. So we will see. I guess you'll have to wait. Find out. But anyway, for the 98th episode, 2 episodes away from 100, folks. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks as we do something special. What it is, even I don't know yet.
Because we're just not organized. Woo!
Yep, that's right. So yeah, for the 98th episode of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, I'm Lachlan.
And I'm Saune.
And we will see you next time. To point at the screen, let me to point about that or something. She imagines that every time I say that in any one of the episodes, I point at the screen. Which I totally do. You guys don't see it, but with Let's Lore, you're lagging the lady.
Are you actually pointing at the screen though?
I usually do, but you guys can't see. And I'll see you next. We'll see you next time. Point at the screen. It's just me. Nobody knows that, except for the internet now. Whatever.
Okay, I should stop fussing with this. You can actually